Hey there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to be making a light up shaker card. This is a full panel shaker card and it has 3 lights on it as well. I have made previous shaker cards with lights in the last couple months. This one right here with the 1 light, and then I also did one with the halo light and there's a shaker inside both of those cards. So if you've missed those, I'll have them linked for you in the description box below. And now let's take a look at my stash of backgrounds. Well, it's more like half of my stash of backgrounds, but I was wanting to find a background I already had made, use something from my stash for today's card. And so I just rummaged through here. Most of these are gel press prints. Some of them are ink smushing or watercoloring. And I just like to make my own backgrounds so much that I often have a lot left over like this. So now I've picked this one out. I cut it down to 5 inches by 4 1/4, and I'm going to put it in this shaker panel from waffle flour. It's to make full panel shaker cards. So you want to remove the protective film, that's so it doesn't get scratched up, and then you are ready to start building a shaker. It's super easy to do. You can also do these with acetate that you have yourself or like clear plastic packaging, but here's the sad part. I cut my piece too small. It's a full panel shaker, so it needs to be 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So I found a different print and it actually worked out in my favor because I love this one even better. So what we're going to do is remove the backing that says 3M on it, fold that over on 3 sides. Now here, when I folded this one over, it didn't like fold on the creased line very good, so I have a little bit of a ripple. I used my little tool there from Trinity Stamps to help press it down, and it worked out okay in the end. And then I have some flat back sequins or confetti, and they're called Soapy bubbles. They have a little bit of a pink iridescent shine to them, so I thought they were perfect for this shaker. Once those are inside, you can close up the last and 4th side of the shaker, and boom, done, ready to go. All right, now let's move on to stamping with this Botanical Cupcake. I think this is so gorgeous, so pretty, and the flowers are just so fun on top of a cupcake, right? I think it's pretty cool. All right, I stamped that out, plus 2 extra candles. I don't know if you remember the sample from the beginning of the card or video, but that has 3 candles on it. So this is how I did it. I just stamped out 2 extras and then I will cut them out by hand. You could use the die if you wanted. I'll set those aside and let's start on coloring. Today I'm using colored pencils, which I almost never do, or I haven't done in a really long time, and I just thought the soft look of colored pencils would go really nicely with my background that I chose for this card, which is a gel press print, and I wanted to just do pencils today, so I went for it. I pulled out colors that I thought would go really well with the background and then a green to complement that and just started coloring. Now, I am not here to teach you how to color with colored pencils. I have a way that I do them, but really I just color for fun. Sometimes I take tips from other crafters who are better at things than I am, but here all I'm doing is taking one pencil that's a little bit darker, adding in a shadow, and then coloring over that with a pencil that's lighter. You can see it here really well on this pink flower, but this is really like how I colored in my color books with my Crayolas. I put a darker outline and then filled it in either with the same color using a lighter hand or using a lighter color. And that's just like how I've always colored. So why fix something that's not broken? Yeah, I've been paper crafting for a very, very long time in some form or another. But here you can see the colored pencils are just a little bit softer than if I were to use my Copic markers, let's say. So now I'm coloring the cupcake liner. I'm using the same colors I did on those pink flowers, except for right here. I brought in a darker pink and am creating a little bit of a shadow underneath those flowers, so they just really like pop. And I thought that was a really fun look. So there is my cupcake. It's so gorgeous. And there is a die set to go with this stamp set. So I'm going to die cut this out, and then it'll be ready to go on my card. Well, not really. I've got to add my other candles. But there you can see a close-up look at this cupcake and the die I'm going to use to cut it out. You just want to be really careful to get it kind of lined up around each of those little pointy edges of the flowers. All right, now I am taking my 3 candles and piercing or poking a hole in the top. That is so my light can shine through those holes. Then I will attach my 2 candles. I did 1 in each color, pink, yellow, and green. And then I'm just arranging them so they're kind of spread out across the top there. And you can see I did leave some of the part of the cupcake that I didn't color at the bottom of the candle, and that just gave me a little extra something to add my glue to. All right, these are the easy lights that I'm using today. All the lights that I've talked about in today's video are from Pearblossom Press. They make amazing lights that take all of the science out of making light up cards away. I love it. So I don't have to figure out copper tape and a little map and the plus and the minus and I don't have to do any of that. So all I need is 1 light set and 1 battery. It comes in the kit for you in this set of 5 lights. And the little end that's yellow, that's the light. They're LED lights. They're going to stay nice and cool. So I love that. Your card's not going to heat up and, then the adhesive doesn't like to stick after that. So no worries about that. I am using a little bit of double stick tape that's going to help me press and hold my wires down on this narrow candle. Now I need to make sure that my lights work, so I put my battery in, lining up the plus sign with the plus sign, very easy, and then press the little button and they do indeed light up. So first I want to figure out where's this battery pack going to go on my piece here. Where do I want the little push symbol to go? Symbol? It's a word. Yeah, it's a word. So once I have that where I want it, I'm going to tape it down just with regular tape, nothing special. And then I can start putting those lights so that the little yellow end is lined up with that hole that I pierced through. So it's pretty easy to do. Just stick it on there, and I use that double stick tape, and you can see right there that's holding it in place for me, which is fabulous. So I just kind of like to check and make sure the light is showing up how I want as I go before I create any permanence in the project. And this double stick tape is really helping me right here. But if I had a bigger area than this candle, I would just put Scotch tape over it. Any kind of tape will work. Even probably washi tape would do the trick. So just whatever you have. But if you have a really, colorful or black or blue tape, that could show through. So just be careful with that. If you decide to, use washi tape, you don't want that to show through in the hole. So next I'm just taping down the excess wiring. It's very thin and very bendable and very sturdy at the same time. So you can just tape it down so it's out of sight. And then I decided to take a little more of that double stick tape and go over the wiring because I don't want it to move around, and just, I don't know, I like extra security when I'm making things in the form of adhesive. I want things to be very sturdy. So yeah, I'm making sure the lights are face down and then just putting a little of that double stick tape over it. It was easier for me than like cutting down a piece of the regular Scotch tape. All right, so now when we mount this to our card, let's talk about that for a second. Your foam adhesive needs to be as thick as the battery pack. So the foam adhesive I'm using is from Heavy Doodle. It is the same thickness as the battery pack. Some people call it double thick because if you use the green 3M tape, you would have to fold that over and double it up to be this thickness. So I love that. I use it on all my shaker cards, well, except for the ones that are full panel shakers. And then they have it in the wider tape and in the narrower foam tape, and you can see it fits there on my candle, which is fabulous. Now I didn't put adhesive on the outer edge of my cupcake because this shaker card is a little domed, and so I didn't want it to kind of look like it was wrapping around the card. So that's why there was no foam there on the edge, because I love a lot of foam tape. All right, let's make a sentiment for this card. It says make a wish, and this is from the same stamp set. I'm stamping it with some clear ink onto this dark green paper, hopefully to kind of match the greenery in my cupcake, and then I'm embossing it with white powder, melting that powder, and I have this nice shiny raised up sentiment. Embossing never gets old, does it? The really cool thing about this die that I'm using to cut out the sentiment is it's going to cut the words apart. So you can configure them in any way that you choose because it's not just one straight sentiment, but I chose to put mine straight anyway. So I can just space it out how I like and then use some liquid glue to stick it down, which allows me to move it around a little bit once I stick it down onto this plastic. And this does dry with a matte finish, so I don't have to worry about like a little shiny spot. Okay, I have this Papercrafting Magic stamp set with the word push from Trinity Stamps. I did this with some dark yellow ink, honey drizzle to be exact, on some really light yellow paper. I wanted this to kind of be subtle and not like in your face. And then I'm going to stick that on the front of my cupcake so the recipient knows to go ahead and push this and then something will happen. Besides just shaking the card, I love cards that have more than one interactive element, and that's why I chose to show all three of the different kinds of lights available at Pearblossom Press on a different kind of shaker card. So make sure if you haven't seen those other videos that you check them out. It'll give you some ideas for shakers and, you know, so you can see how easy these light up cards are. All right, so I mounted that on my A2 size card base, and now I'm just showing you how it shakes so nicely and the lights light up, and it's just a fun and pretty card. And I'm so glad that I messed up on my background and chose this one instead. I think it's really good. But do you see here how the lights reflect on that plastic and like glow on the inside of the card? I love it. It's very cool. Thank you so much for stopping by, and the fun doesn't have to stop there. Feel free to leave me a comment in the description box below and we can chat. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe because I have new videos all the time. And if you're interested in the supplies, they're linked for you down there too. I'll see you on the next one. Happy stamping! Bye!